Look, ever since AEW has existed, there's always been some comparisons to TNA wrestling, right? And there has been some similarities here and there, but I don't see enough in AEW to really compare it to TNA wrestling at all. In fact, I don't see any similarities between TNA and AEW. TNA wrestling is a whole different wrestling show compared to what you see on Dynamite and Collision. If you watch TNA wrestling back in the day, you know damn well when AEW first came on air, Dynamite, there was definitely no comparison, no real similarities at all. TNA was extremely unique in its own presentation, okay? Especially with the six-sided ring. They had a different, innovative division known as the X division. When Dynamite came on air, it felt like just another alternative to the WWE. For me, when I look at TNA really wasn't much of an alternative. It felt like its own separate wrestling entity that had nothing to do with the WWE at all, right? I don't get that feeling, and I never really got that feeling with AEW. Okay, AEW is pretty much WWE and NXT infested. Most of everyone that's under contract is from NXT, is from the WWE, and that's a fact. A lot of people look at AEW as the second TNA. And I disagree wholeheartedly because I strongly disagree. TNA and AEW could not be any more different. When AEW and TNA were working together, I feel like Tony Khan fumbled that opportunity. And I feel like the partnership with NXT and TNA is a lot more lucrative. It's actually more beneficial for the NXT wrestlers and especially the TNA talent, considering that they're not on TV anymore, right? You have to sign up for a streaming service in order to watch TNA wrestling. When TNA was on air, it had a TV network on Spike, it was doing pretty good numbers. Okay, a lot of entertaining stuff happened on that show, and it just wasn't about wrestling. TNA was also about, storylines, angles, and riveting television. The women in TNA were a lot better than the women in the WWE. They were way more entertaining and had better personalities. And you felt like you were watching a real wrestling, like pro wrestling show. AEW does not feel like a real pro wrestling show. A lot of these matches are just choreographed monkey circus clowns, circus shows. A bunch of circus clowns, performing at a circus show. That's what it looks like to me. AEW really did no favors for TNA. But for NXT, they're given, Shawn Michaels, they're giving TNA wrestlers an opportunity to gain more exposure. Okay? Through NXT, they'll gain exposure in the WWE. The Motor City Machine Guns are apparently going to NXT. And for the record, that's not a step down for them, regardless of their age. In fact, they're they're definitely an added bonus to the tag team division in NXT. And they can have some badass matches in that tag team division. and really elevate that division in NXT.